Hey everybody out there in Adventureland and Park A.T.V. Tonight I'm going to be installing this Tusk oversized floating Typhoon brake rotor on my 1999 KLR650. Okay everybody, so opening it up, right here we have the rotor. And just to give you an idea of the difference in size, this is the stock rotor. This is the new one. It is huge. So what's going on the front of this? But to do that, to make sure everything fits, they send you this adapter. And they send you the hardware right here, little nuts. So it's basically pretty simple. This must have been one that got loose. So that's what I'm going to be doing. That's the Tusk Typhoon oversized rotor for the KLR650. It's no mystery that the braking on them is a little weak. And I've got a bunch of added weight on this thing with saddlebags and all the protection I've got on it. And I need extra braking. So on the back, I've got the steel braided lines, which are really nice. They don't let the line swell. So when you're braking, this line transfers every bit of the hydraulic pressure right to the pistons. A rubber line will heat up and swell, so you lose some pressure. So steel braided lines are a good start. So I even installed the Spiegler. Bike's filthy. Just got back from a ride. So Spiegler makes custom steel braided lines. This one I got blue. Well, the bike's kind of blue. So their product comes with a flaring tool and everything so that you can adjust the banjo. This is a banjo bolt, and this right here needs to be twisted or tweaked just a little bit, and they send a really cool tool in there that allows you to do that without harming the brake line. And so I've installed that. That's the Spiegler. You can look it up online. Steel braided brake line for the 1999 KLR650. So here we go. We're going to get this front end off and see what happens. Okay guys, I gotta take these Allen bolts come out. One. Two. So forth and so on. Take all these off. And when I put these back in, I'm going to put a thread lock on them. These are holding that rotor on, which is your disc. We don't want those to work out. So I'll put a little thread lock on these to lock them in, and I'll torque them to whatever the torque specification is. And again, that would be in your manual. So far it's pretty straightforward. Take the old disc off, the new disc, which they call a rotor. And I will put all of my stuff in my handy dandy magnet holder. And then we'll take a rubber mallet, which right here. Don't ever hit these with anything Well, there you go. So here we go. Look at the size difference. I'm gonna clean this up real good right here. I'm gonna wipe all that off real good to ensure that I get a good solid seat on there. Okay guys, I got these rotor bolts right here, and I'm gonna want to put those in my solvent tank. I got a Job Smart solvent tank right here. Red Bulls. We all know what I think about the Red Bulls. Anyway, so this solvent tank right here has a solvent. Well, there goes my handy dandy magnetic trays hanging onto everything. So I'm going to put these in here to make sure they're clean. I want them to soak them in it. I don't want any debris on those threads. I want those threads clean. So let's see if we got it plugged in. No, it's not plugged in. Anyway, this is a Job Smart solvent tank. You buy the solvent tank and then you buy 10 gallons of solvent, pour in it, and the solvent is a cleaner. Solvent tank, if you've worked any kind of parts places, you know there's a solvent tank. It's better than carburetor cleaner or gasoline, and this will soak those parts and break down all the grease and grime. And I got a wire brush right there. I'm going to clean every one of those up. Hey everybody, just got off work and I'm heading back out here to the bivouac to continue the project on the KLR. I love this motorcycle, and I've outfitted it with a tank bag right there. Is that not a tough looking machine, even with the front wheel off? So front wheel is right here. So I ran out of time last night and got really hungry, and we ordered some Chinese food and the food crane, and we ate really good. So anyway, good to be back out in the bivouac. Steadily becoming one of my most cherished and favorite places. Who wouldn't like to be out in the bivouac working on this baby? Or that one. That one. Anyway, that's it for now. Okay, I just thought I'd mention that while I got the wheel off, and I don't have that disc in the way, I went ahead and cleaned up my hub. And I'm in the process of wiping the wheel down too. Since it's off the bike, it makes it a lot easier. So if you're into keeping the bike clean, I also use these pieces of wood here and there, so that the wheel doesn't sit on the hub. It'll stay on these pieces of wood. And that way I'm not putting pressure right on this hub as I'm working on it. See how dirty that is? Can you see that? Yeah, I'm gonna clean all that up too. So that's just what I do. It's just a little tip that if you are interested in keeping your bike clean, let me get my headlight off. Well, let me see if I can get it on a little lower light. Yeah, this one. Yeah, if you're interested in keeping your, there you go. If you're interested in keeping your bike clean, then you know how hard it is sometimes to clean it with all these little tight areas. And you'll wipe it down real good, but getting in all the little tight to get areas is a pain in the butt. And it's just a good opportunity to cut down on that time and do it now. And plus, like I always said, it's good to keep your bike clean because you're going to see if there's a stress crack or if something's broken. Hard to see it with all that dirt in the way. So I recommend cleaning a dirt bike and even street bikes regularly to make sure that you're looking at the very machine. That's my 2 bits. And I necessarily don't want to get down here unless I'm cleaning the bearings and doing all that, and I'm not doing that this time. I'm not repacking everything.
I used 1x4
I'm just going to clean all the
instead of
grime
2x4s. They weren't big enough.
From
you
around.
can see the wheel moving. But use 2x4 blocks, and you'll see later on
of
in
degreaser.
Next segment.
And again, try to keep it out of your bearings as best as possible. You know, you don't want to put degreaser in there, but you can target it to where you need it to be. My bearings can take quite a bit of abuse. I ride mine through water and everything. And they're designed to do, as far as I'm concerned. Made for riding pretty extreme stuff through river, mountain-sized mud. There's no place my KLR won't take me. There's really not any place yet that I won't go with it. I went and saw Tenere 700 this last weekend, and that's the Yamaha Tenere 700, which is the big brother to the XT660 Tenere back in the mid-2000s. So this bike was highly anticipated by those of us in the adventure world, watching out for it. And I saw it, and the guy asked me if I rode, and I told him I did. I rode a KLR650, a 1999 Gen 1 KLR650, and his comment was, why? Why you want to get rid of that? I couldn't tell him. There's absolutely no reason for me to part with my KLR that I have at all. I've not maxed a bike out. I am doing upgrades on the suspension. That's just because the way that I ride, I get a little out of control and lose control and slam into ruts and stuff, and the front end will bottom out on me, which means the forks collapse all the way really hard. So I'm doing the upgrade on the front suspension to make it more durable than that, because I can get a little out of control. But as far as the engine and the whole bike itself, I have not maxed out this bike's capability at all. I do not ride well enough to tax its capability or its intended purpose. And I love it. So I said no to the Tenere 700, because that would be getting rid of this to get that. Or I would get the Tenere 700 and keep this, but then what would I do? Which one would I ride? The Iconic Classic? Probably.